Morning, fellas. It's going on a little bit before 9, and we're about 68 in the garage. Reason being is I got the heater out and I got it fired up. I'm going to be working on the garage floor today. It's been a while since I did a video. Let's see, I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I've been in Dallas. Got back this past Monday, visiting the granddaughters. Wife and I went ahead and we did our Christmas shopping while we were there for them, and got their Christmas gifts and got them to my son and my daughter-in-law. And we were hoping to go see Gary Ramsey at Ramsey Customs, but that weekend that I had available, Gary went up to New York for a class or something, and Monday was the day we were flying back out, and that was the day he had available. But we will be back out there at the end of January for my oldest granddaughter's birthday, so I'm going to try to see what Gary's got going on there and hook up with him then. The car, I've been working on the car, so let's go with the last thing I left we were doing with the rear seats. Rear seater was roughly, I got an idea, and I know what needs to be done. I want to get the front seats in because I got to pull those seats out a little bit, and I want to see how much leg room with the front seats in that I can go. If you remember correctly, that the stock seat would come out to about here, so I want to see how much I can pull out, and then we'll start going with there. We need to mount the base first before we mount the back, so that's where we're at on the rear seats. To do that is my front seats, or the temporary front seats I got for the car, are sitting right here with the fans and the exhaust system on it, and I want to get the exhaust system in before I want to start putting the car back together before I start back on the rear seats. And to do that, before the exhaust system, the dry shaft has to go in, and we've had the dry shaft in and out several times, and come to find out that when we move the A-frame back over, or the subframe, excuse me, the subframe back over, that it tweaked the dry shaft to where it's just a tad bit too long. Dry shaft will fit in there, but it doesn't give me any of the play for the spline as the car drives to drive up into the transmission. It is tight right against the tail shaft of the transmission. So on Monday, that's going to Dan's Driveline Services, and they're going to shorten the dry shaft for me. And so then we'll do that. We readjusted this door, the passenger side door. Now all I got to, you can see it's perfect, but when you put it in with the striker, you see the striker pushes it up, so I got to adjust the striker down a little bit on that. The front radiator is in with the radiator hoses hooked up. I haven't got the clamps tight yet on either the upper or the lower, so that's where we're at there. Let's see what else, and that's about it. I'm gonna get the garage nice toasty warm because I'll be on my back working underneath, and then I'm going to bring in the inner fenders, and we're going to start putting the front end together today, and that's the plan for today. Most of this week was putting up, let's see, that Tupperware container up there, that was the Christmas, that's my Christmas trees in, that's up. As you can see down there, the Christmas lights are up. All I do is a string around the front of the garage, and then I had to go in the attic and get all the Christmas stuff out. Tried talking the wife into not putting all this stuff up and everything else, and the look I got, I just assume not ever get that look again, but the Christmas stuff is out, so that's what I spent most of the week on. And we went ahead and did all our Christmas shopping and everything else, so I'm able to get back out here. So that's the game plan for today. Is hopefully my goal would be to have the passenger door striker adjusted, the passenger side inner fender and outer fender on and adjusted, and maybe start on the driver's side. I have to take 2 measurements for the drive shaft to get that before we go to Dan's on Monday, and then put the drive shaft loop in and see what we need there. So that's the goal, and we'll see if we can meet it, and that's where we're at. So as always, thanks for watching, and when I get more, I'll turn this back on later. Hey fellas, let's see, right side fender and fender wells in. I like bolting these two together as a unit and put them on, rather than putting the inner fender well on and then putting on the outer fender. To me, it's a lot easier if we bolt them together loosely and then put them on. That's the way I've always done it, and it's a lot easier. As you can see, I got the striker adjusted, and once the weather stripping's in and everything else, the door will sit good. Tightened up the lower and upper radiator hose, and now we got to get the cabling out of the way. What I'll do is I'll put the fender on, and then I'll fish this through with a coat hanger to hide the wires underneath between the fender and the outer fender and the inner fender. So, but that's where we're at, and turn the heater off. It definitely got warm in here, so it doesn't take much for that thing to heat this up. Plus today, this morning, we were a low of 37, and we're supposed to get up into the lower 60s today, so I just wanted to take the chill out of the air. And let's see, it got it up to about, it was on for about 45 minutes and got it up to about 74 in here. I like it when it's t-shirt weather in here. We measured the dry shaft, and from the end of the tail shaft to the center of the universal cup hole is 49 3/8. So that's the one dimension I need. Actually, if they take 3/8 of an inch to a quarter, 3/8 of an inch to maybe a half inch off of that thing, that'll fit fine. But they're the specialists, and I'll go in and talk to them tomorrow morning, or Monday morning. So slowly starting to go back together. So we'll get this fender bolted together, and then we'll see get it on the car and start having the fun process of shimming and tightening and spacing it up. What I do is I leave everything loose. I'll go and the inner fender bracket right here, I'll loosen this up, and so everything's just all loose and flopping around as I adjust the fender. It's a little better to go underneath the car and tighten those up again, but to me it's a lot easier. And I don't know how everybody does it or anything else, but it's a lot easier. That reminds me, I got a favor to ask. Roger, Fireman 164, Nick, got a question for you. On the subframe, on the driver's side, there is a bracket that is welded on the subframe that takes the emergency brake cable. I need to know the dimension from the end of the subframe to where that bracket is. This bracket didn't come with one, this subframe doesn't have one welded on. I have to cut it. I have to cut in a new one. So I need to know where that is. So it's the bracket to where the emergency brake cable end slides through, and there's a spring clip that holds it on. Okay, and it's an eyelet, and then that holds the emergency brake cable on. I need to know the dimension from the end of the subframe to that bracket. So if either one of you can give me that, it'd be greatly appreciated. So that's all I got for now. I'm going to start bolting the fender together. When I have more, I'll turn it back on later. Hey fellas. Again, this is how I do it. I don't know if it's the right way or the wrong way, but this is my way, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but this is the way I'm most comfortable in doing it. All the bolts are in finger tight. That's it. Nothing is tightened down. I will turn around and set the fender in place, and then start lining it up with the shims and everything, and getting it all to to line up and to oh, that's dirty, and get to and get it together. Again, this is the way I do it. It's not saying, to me, this is easier. This is easier than putting the inner fender on and trying to fight with these bolts down here and getting those lined up, and it's all together and it's all loose. You have the 3 bolts here, right here, that go to this bracket right here. That's on the that'll be on the other side here. That go to this bracket right here. So, and that'll be part, it'll go on, and I'll get it roughly centered, adjusted, and then I'll just sit there and start putting bolts in and slowly setting the gaps and lining it up. But again, guys, this is the way I do it. Not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong. Actually, I really don't know how the right way to do it. I was never told the right way to do this, but this is the way I'm most comfortable in doing it. And when I have more, I'll turn this back on later. Hey fellas, well, the passenger fender's on, and the gap is okay, but this is what the issue is. Here's 3/16. Oh, nice. Then down here, it tightens up. But up here, it's just a little wide. So I'm doing this by myself, and I'm gonna get a hold of my youngest son and see if he'd give me a hand and get this. The door opens are great. But we got some problems with it fitting down here. The rocker's in, this is out. So I might have to adjust the door again. I don't know, I got the door fitting so good though. But it is what it is. This is the fun part. But we had to trim a little more of the inner fender off down in here. And lines up beautifully. But the only bolts that are tightened on are the 2 bottom ones, this one, and the one inside the door. But that's where we're at. I'm going to take a break. It's lunchtime, and see if we can play with this door or whatever, and see what we come up with. No sense in doing the driver's side until we get this one all 100%. So when I have more, I'll turn it back on later. Hey fellas, I've been playing with this most of the afternoon, and still got some issues. But again, brain fart me, I need to get it down on all four tires before I final adjust the fenders. So we'll hold that off until we do it. We'll get them somewhat lined up, get them tightened down, and get them to where they're close, and then we'll put it down on all four tires and readjust the body panels then accordingly. So that's where I'm at. It's getting late in the afternoon. I'm getting tired. I've been at it for a good 6-7 hours, and I had about as much fun as I think I can have for one day. So I'm just going to leave this mess right there because I plan on coming back out tomorrow and playing with it a little bit more, and then do the driver's side and getting that up. And then once we get that in, then I'm not dropping it down in the ground, not quite yet. I want to get the drive shaft and the exhaust system on it. Like I said, the drive shaft goes in Monday, and we'll just do that side, the driver's side, and get that done, and then turn around and work on a few other things. I got a bunch of stuff to do while it's sitting here like this before we move on to anything else. And what my calculations are is I got 5 months to get this thing tightened up before it becomes paint time. So as always, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for leaving comments, and you guys have a good one. Maybe we'll do a video tomorrow. Later.